Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. In today's video, we're going to be lubing the splines on this Vulcan 750 we've got here. This is going to be broke up into 3 parts just so it's a little easier to watch. In the first video, we're going to remove the rear wheel and we'll take the final drive itself off and then we'll just kind of inspect stuff. There'll be 2 more videos coming. We'll get those uploaded soon. I will let you know in this video, I do have a motorcycle lift and a flat jack that makes this a whole lot easier for me. You can put some blocks of wood under the center stand and lift it up high enough so you can get the rear wheel off. That really is the biggest problem that you'll have without having those. Obviously having the lift, I get it up out of the way. You won't have that if you don't have that. So again, some blocks of wood under the center stand can get it up out of the way for you. Other than that, this really is a pretty simple procedure. There's not much to it. I did go ahead and paint the final drive on this after pulling it apart. Just didn't like how it looked. Talked to the owner on it and they decided to go with black on it. So there'll be another video. The link will be up there somewhere. And if you want to go watch how I painted it, you can do that. So if you have it off and you want to do that. Also, this is my first time lubing the splines on anything. Really, I haven't really taken the final drive off and played with anything. Most of the stuff I've played with has been chain drive bikes. So I really followed the procedure from the manual for the most part, and also on the VN 750 forum. And I'll put a link to the 750 forum down below. So if you've got any questions, you can ask those guys. And if you've got any questions in the meantime, hit me up in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer anything you've got. You'll have 2 other videos coming soon. So enjoy. Hopefully it's pretty easy to follow. Like I said, it is a pretty simple procedure. So let's get to it. Oil out of the final drive here. We've got that bolt there that's got to come out, that nut bolt, whatever you want to call it, and then there's a 12 millimeter down here. I do not have the socket for that. I think it's a 27. I don't have the right size on there, 26, 27. So I'm just going to use a crescent wrench. I've already broke it loose, so I'm just going to loosen that the rest of the way, and then we'll take that off, and then we'll do the other bolt down here. Again, that's a 12 millimeter, and we'll see what comes out of it. There's that off, and nothing came out. I don't see anything in there, so it's actually pretty low. Just get a 12 millimeter. When you're taking these off, these drain plugs, if you push in while you're turning, sometimes, and I'm hoping this one does because I know the rear end grease smells, I can already smell it, but if you push in, it will hold the bolt in there a little bit longer so it doesn't just come shooting out at you. It works great for oil. Then you pop it out and we'll see it drain. It smells delicious. Now we're just trickling out, so wipe that off a little bit. And you can kind of see that. Definitely nasty. And then we're going to go ahead and put our bolt back in. And we'll snug it down and torque it later. There it is, snug. Wipe off any excess there. And then we're going to put our plug back on. Normally what you would do is you would take your rear end oil and you would dump it in there until it's full. We'll do that later and we'll cut it into where this is, but we got a lot more work to do before I want to put that in. Can't really see very well, but that's what came out. This container was pretty clean beforehand. I usually wipe them out really well, so just see how thick that is. on to the next step. Remove the rear wheel. So we have to take these nuts off. I've already broken them all loose. The one on the other side is already off, but we'll show you. There goes that. We got a washer and an O-ring there. It goes with the 17mm acorn nut. That's what mine has on it, but it did have some aftermarket plates on here. Well, I say aftermarket, but the previous owner put some plates on here to lower it down. So I think they're the right hardware, but I'm not positive. But either way, that was the 17 to take that off. Then we'll come around to the other side. And over here, we've taken the 17mm off here. See, there's the nut, the two washers. Same setup on that side with it. This will pull the shock out. Both of those, we can pull the shocks out, and that rear end will swing down. The swing arm will swing down, so we can get that brake drum off and get the wheel off. I've also removed the passenger foot peg, which I've got in a box over here somewhere. It is just 4 bolts. They just unbolt 10mm bolts. I like to put my hardware back in when I can, so that I know where it's at. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one has washers in it and stuff. So I put those together in there because it's got a bolt on the back, or it's got a nut on the back of it. So there. Nope, not that one. That, and that. Those are our 4 bolts that we have to remove. For our foot peg, that'll give us a little room with the exhaust, possibly. We'll see. I might have to remove 1 or 2 more of those. All right, next thing we've got to do is take off this cotter pin and this nut to take the brake stay off. And then we'll take that bolt off and go ahead and take that brake off. So let's get this cotter pin out first. Put it in our tray. We've got our cotter pin out. We're gonna take that bolt out. That is a 14mm, and we need to use a deep well because my short one's not working. So it was not tight at all. All right, next we're going to take that one off, which is a 14 also. Let's mark that. I'm going to try and take a marker and mark this. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it's not that difficult to readjust. But if our mark stays on there, we can get pretty close. All right, the nut's out, so we're gonna slide that. The rod itself will come out, there's a spring on there. And then this barrel just slides through. We're just gonna slide that back on there with our nut back on there. Just hold that. All right. Next, we gotta get the shocks off. Because we need the wheel to drop so that we can get to the axle. Go. All right, now we're going to take the cotter pin out of here. go. Next, we need to loosen the axle nut. All right, the two wrench method didn't work, so we're going impact driver because we're taking it off here. We're not putting it on. I wouldn't do that with an impact. So that did the trick. Take this nut off. Should have no problem getting off. Got a washer and the castle nut. And then here's our cotter pin. Probably going to replace that with a new one. Let's see. Brass tip hammer. All right, we've got our axle coming out here. Everything else is disconnected. We do need to make sure not to drop the drum. That's all loose and spinning. I have my jack so that the wheel is on the ground, so you can see the bike moving. What I'll do is I'll take the axle out, then I'll just raise the jack up. So there's our axle. No spacers on the outside. Let's jack it up. Spacer, drum, it's not going to quite have enough room there, so raise it up a little bit more so we can clear this fender. All right, that should clear. We've got the license plate off, gives us that extra clearance. It should pop off. We got to slide the wheel to the right side of the bike. And that'll take it off of the final drive. I'm going to hold on to this disc here. Rocking it. All right. That is clear. We can roll this bad boy out. Still. Do with a little bit of cleaning, but overall, that's actually in really good shape. Plenty of brake pad left on there. You can see that. All right, what I like to do is go ahead and put the axle back in. So we'll actually put that right back there just to keep everything together. Not sure if you can see very well, but this has a white lithium grease is what it looks like is on there. So we definitely have grease here. That's good news. So that's already very good. No metal. All of these teeth look really good. Not sure what you can see here, but this is the final drive here. And again, there's plenty of grease here. We are going to clean that all off and put some new grease on there. But everything looks good so far. We are going to take off the 4 bolts, if you can see back here, and go ahead and slide this whole final drive off, and then we'll see the prop shaft and see how it looks. Let's get those 4 bolts off. All right, these are the 4 bolts we're going to loosen here on the final drive in order to take this whole assembly off. So pop those off. Those are 12 millimeters. All right, we've got the 4 bolts out. Now we're ready to remove the final drive here. Should just slide right out. Kind of getting my hardware out of the way so everything doesn't get mixed in. Oh, it's good and dirty on the bottom. Definitely going to need cleaning on this one. There we go. Here's our shaft, which is definitely not dry. Definitely got some lube on there, so that's good. Again, looks like some white lithium grease also on there. I don't know if that's factory or not, but it has definitely been lubed, so that's good news. All right, this is the prop shaft, and it is greased inside and out, so it's definitely not dry, but we'll re-lube it. Again, we're going to clean that all out and re-lube it. Hey everybody, sorry this one ended so abruptly. We do have a second and third one coming up though, so we'll continue with that. I just wasn't planning on doing that. So if you got any questions, again, comment down below. If you liked what you were watching, please hit that like button on it. Definitely helps out with that. And subscribe if you're looking forward to more content. Again, we do have the other 2 videos. They'll be coming out here real shortly. So again, thanks for watching, and look forward to watching the next one.